This is CBC Here and Now.
From kids to questions, the Prime Minister spends the day in the province. We'll tell you who he met with and why.
My other point is we have to be quiet.
Security is called upon and a city councillor gets the boot in Corner Brook. Tonight we find out why these municipal officials can't get along.
Here in Happy Valley Goose Bay at the Labrador Winter Games, ball hockey is the big sport of the day. A gold medal match between Sheshatshiu and Labrador City, and an update on the dog sled races and the Labrathon.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. Another youth is facing criminal charges after the alleged violent attack at Prince of Wales Collegiate in St. John's last Thursday. Well, today a 14-year-old boy was charged with attempted murder, the fourth person charged so far. Police arrested the teen yesterday. The RNC has also charged him with aggravated assault, assault with a weapon, possession of a weapon, having his face masked, and breach of a release order. A 15-year-old and 16-year-old were also charged with attempted murder, and so was 18-year-old Tyler Greening. The 16-year-old victim was taken to hospital in serious condition, but he's now at home recovering. Now, CBC News cannot identify the victim nor those accused who are under the age of 18 because the court has issued a publication ban. The four teens facing charges remain in custody.
Well, things are going to get unsettled, already starting to get unsettled across the southern areas of the island, all thanks to this area of low pressure just south of Nova Scotia at the moment, a nor'easter moving through, bringing some unsettled conditions definitely to parts of Nova Scotia. Already seeing that change over to rain, and then same thing across New Brunswick. But you can already start to see some of that snow moving in along the south coast of the island, working its way towards Corner Brook and further north as we head through the night tonight. Just taking a look at some of the conditions out there right now. Grand Bank, well, I can't see a whole lot right now, but Port Peninsula seeing those snow-covered roads. Corner Brook, you can see a few flurries there. In Burgeo, same thing. So Environment Canada does have a number of warnings in place. Special weather statement for those of you in Corner Brook through to Northern Peninsula East through to Gander. And those snowfall warnings now have extended through to Clarenville, Terra Nova, as well as Bonavista. And then we have that winter storm warning. Now, Wreck House wind warning in place as well. Take a look at these current winds, around 122 kilometers per hour in the Wreck House area. That will really be the story. And see these winds gusting between 60 and 70 kilometers per hour. That will continue tonight as well and spread east. I'll have the details coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, there are new COVID-19 numbers to tell you about tonight. There have been 12 deaths since the last update 2 weeks ago. 4 of the new deaths were in the Eastern Health area, 7 in central Newfoundland, and 1 in the Labrador-Grenfell Health region. 10 people were older than 70. The others were in their 50s and 60s. Health officials are reporting 19 new hospitalizations in that 2-week period, including 4 that required critical care. And still with health, as the closures at Bonavista's emergency room continues, there was yet another protest today on the steps of Confederation Building.
Someone in here in government decides that our lives don't matter as much as somebody here in St. John's? No way.
Well, Health Minister Tom Osborne did come out to speak face-to-face with protesters. They waved photos of Charles Marsh, a Bonavista resident who died in an ambulance last month while being transported to Clarenville Hospital. He had sought medical attention the day before, but the ER was closed. It's a familiar story for Brenda Monks, whose sister also died last month, several days after being diverted to Clarenville when medical help wasn't available in Bonavista.
The emergency department was open, but there was no doctor. So because there was no doctor, she needed IV fluids. We had to rush her to Clarenville Hospital just to get IV fluids and like potassium, and she was dehydrated. Unfortunately, she died on February 17th. So I'm here because Bonavista Hospital is very, very important to our area.
I got some health issues, not major, but I got a few minor ones, and plus
I find that, what happens is you find yourself thinking more and more about what possibly could happen to you. Like, I've been a construction worker all my life, and I got a bit of a shop where I'm using power tools and stuff all day long, and now I sort of think over, well, will I do this today, or will I wait till another day when I know the hospital's open, right? And it's always, I guess it's in the back of your mind more now than if the hospital was open. It was just natural that if something happened, well, you could go to the hospital, right?
Well, as you saw there, Health Minister Tom Osborne spoke with the people on the steps of Confederation Building, but inside, he told the legislature the province is offering some of the best incentive packages in the country.
I understand that currently today, Mr. Speaker, there are 7 individuals that there are being offers made to. I can say, Mr. Speaker, that we went through the approval process. We got the approval. The Provincial Health Authority is offering $200,000 for any physician in this province or anywhere else across the country that's listening, Mr. Speaker, a $200,000 signing bonus for 2 years return in service to work in Bonavista. That's on top of the come home incentive, Mr. Speaker, of $100,000 if they're coming from outside the province.
And we have some good news to share about an elderly couple who were forced to live apart because of the province's healthcare system. Jim and Teresa Wolfrey, both 86, have been married for 7 decades. But they've been living separately for the last year and a half because they need different levels of care. Their family had been fighting for months to reunite them, and last week they say their efforts paid off. They received a call saying they can live together again in a home in St. John's. Their daughter tells Here and Now that when they got the news, her father couldn't contain his joy.
Well, I was on my phone in the car, and the social worker was trying to tell me, and he was hooting and hollering and everything. She said, well, I guess I take that as a yes. So, yeah, he was pretty excited.
Well, the Prime Minister was in the province today, spending much of the day in Clarenville. Justin Trudeau was in town to talk about his government's childcare plan. He met with parents and kids at a daycare in the morning and then held a town hall Q&A in the afternoon. Here and Now's Daryl Roberts has that story.
Hello, everyone.
Inside a Clarenville daycare this morning, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and other federal and provincial politicians spent part of the morning talking about a $10 a day childcare plan, which kicked in at the beginning of this year.
Not only is this saving families here an average of $6,300 per child in regulated care, but it's also making our economies stronger. Now, families in all provinces and territories are benefiting from savings and from investments in high-quality early learning for kids. When parents can afford childcare, they can build their careers and build the futures they want for themselves and for their families.
But in this province, a shortage of workers means that many families can't access childcare, no matter how affordable it is. But Premier Furey says the province has a plan to fix that.
We are putting the right measures in place to ensure that we not only check the box on the affordability piece, we check it on the accessibility piece.
Trudeau also talked about the carbon tax, insisting it will help the environment and put money back in people's pockets. He also criticized the federal Conservatives for their opposition to that plan. That tax is a point of contention between the federal and provincial Liberals. And Premier Andrew Furey has also expressed his disappointment in the amount of funding the province is getting from the new federal health agreement. But Trudeau and Furey insist that there's no rift.
Canadians really appreciate it when orders of government come together and work together to deliver. Andrew.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, we have a great working relationship. It's not just friendship. It's been delivered in results.
Later in the day at a town hall, Trudeau was questioned about housing, food prices, and healthcare. Trudeau isn't the only federal leader to stop in Clarenville recently. Last month, federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre stopped in Clarenville to drum up support as he prepares to take Trudeau on in the next election. Daryl Roberts, CBC News, Clarenville.
Well, still with politics, the latest poll from Angus Reid suggests Premier Andrew Furey is the most popular premier in the country. According to the poll, Furey has an approval rating of 62%, up 15 points from December. That's tied with the highest approval he ever got back in June of 2021. Angus Reid surveyed 178 people in an online panel between March 6th and 13th with an equivalent margin of error of 7 percentage points, 19 times out of 20. Well, in municipal politics, a Brook councillor was kicked out of council chambers this week during a heated debate about the city's proposed code of conduct.
Some of the issues are. But I wasn't given that opportunity,
Okay, I
Mr.
think
Mayor.
this is a fundamental.
And if I can finish.
This is a fundamental.
And if I can finish, Mr.
You
Mayor.
will let me finish. I'm the chair.
Well, you asked
Okay,
me, you gave
you
me the
finish.
floor. So
You
my
said-
other point is, we haven't had training on this yet, Mr. Mayor.
Quiet.
So I would like to have some training before we proceed. Okay?
One more time. Okay?
Very respectful, Mr.
Be
Mayor.
quiet.
Very respectful.
Remove him, please.
Sir,
Yep. You've been told. You will respect the chair, and part of
I certainly do respect the chair,
part
Mr.
of the
Mayor.
commentary
It
that's
goes
in
both
this
ways.
document. Yes, Deputy Mayor.
It's not funny, Mr. Mayor.
Well, some tense moments during the meeting. As you just saw, Mayor Jim Parsons had security remove Councillor Charles Pender. The mayor says the reason was because Pender continued speaking over the chair despite warnings to stop. Parsons told CBC Radio's Newfoundland Morning that he's never removed a councillor before, but he refuses to be bullied, especially over a code of conduct.
Half of council, for some reason, took issue with this. Wouldn't provide staff feedback. Having it for over a month, not providing direct feedback on the document, a document that was created by our legislative staff and our lawyer. And, you know, I don't know what's going on. Our staff have expressed the same frustration.
Meanwhile, Pender says it was an unprovoked outburst of anger, saying that it's the mayor and not himself who is the bully.
When somebody points their finger at you and out, like, you know, whatever, and then laughs at you when you're going out the door behind your back, what does that tell you about the atmosphere that's in that building and in that chambers?
Well, from some verbal roughhousing in Brook Council chambers to some actual roughhousing at the Labrador Winter Games. Ball hockey is currently underway there, and On The Go host Anthony Germain is covering the games in Happy Valley Goose Bay. He joins us now live. So, Anthony, just how serious are these ball hockey athletes on the floor?
Well, they call this the friendship games, but I can tell you, Karen, a lot of intensity. We spent a good chunk of the day watching ball hockey. Tonight, as Here and Now unfolds, somebody's going to win the gold medal, and it's Sheshatshiu versus Labrador City. So guess what? The home ice, if there was ice in ball hockey, would belong to Sheshatshiu. I think the entire community is packed into the arena, so that's going to be some excitement tonight. And we checked out some of that excitement today. And Carolyn, I also got a lesson about interviewing young people. Take a look. What do you think about ball hockey?
It is really fun, especially when there's different teams from everywhere else, because it's like, it depends on who wins for the games to start.
What do you mean it depends who wins? I thought this was all about, you know, the fun of playing, and then you see those guys crashing behind you.
It's crazy. It's very crazy.
I know they call these the friendly games, but are they always friendly? Because sometimes it looks like they're really competing out there. What's the balance between friendly and competition?
It's different on the court, I guess. But in person, friendship is there. But on the court, it's all, your own team. It's your game, right? Forget about the rest of the other team.
And what's the big difference between ball hockey and ice hockey?
The ice.
Ask a stupid question, get an answer. What about you? What do you like about ball hockey?
It looks really fun and it's fun to watch.
How about you, Jackson? What do you like?
I just like playing the game and cheering my team on for hockey and hoping they have the best of fun.
It's very crazy because if something happens, you're like, the ball's over there, the ball's over here, and It's crazy, honestly.
What I find amazing is ice hockey's really fast. This seems to be just as fast,
I know, it's...
but no skates.
Exactly. It's so fun because it's like you don't need skates to do it. So if you wanted to play hockey, you don't have to play actual hockey. You can just play the ball hockey.
Yeah. Oh, here they come.
Oh, they're going crazy.
Yeah, I think we need helmets out here too.
Yeah.
So as you can tell, a lot of fun at the arena today, and that fun and intensity is continuing tonight with that gold medal match, as I mentioned, between Sheshatshiu and Labrador City. Should mention the Labrathon, which is the signature event, still up in the air. It's going to happen, but they're trying to figure out a way to make it happen because of the weather concerns here. A lot of ice, too much ice, and not enough snow. Same thing for the dog sled races on the weekend on Saturday. They're finding a different venue because that venue is too icy, but they do say both events are going ahead. Just exactly how they're going ahead, well, we'll wait till the committee makes that decision sometime tonight. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Anthony Germain in Happy Valley Goose Bay.
We are targeting a underwater landslide.
Tonight on our series about life and work aboard a Coast Guard ship, we take a deep dive into the seabed to see what's in there. That story is next.
Well, there may be a lack of snow up across Labrador. That is not the story across the island. Snow moving in tonight. It's going to continue as we head through the day tomorrow. I'll have all the details coming up.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. Bonus prize deadline is midnight, Thursday, April 6th. Order tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Okay, so just before we get to the weather, Ashley, you were live from the waterfront last night, but the harbor looks so different tonight compared to last night. Just check out these pics from our colleagues Nancy Walsh and Francesca Swan.
Yeah, so you can see the ice moved in at some point from last night through to this morning. And
wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of ice. I think is that outside the Narrows, I think? Yeah, because you can see the icebreakers moving through there. This hasn't happened. Some ice in the harbor anyway hasn't happened since March 31st, 2017. And then before that, I was talking to the Coast Guard and he said he remembers doing some ice breaking in the Narrows in 2005.
Okay, so not very often.
Not very often. But if we take a look at the live shot right now of the Narrows, you can see it is really packed in there. Yeah. Temperature sitting, very big difference. Yeah, -2 is where we're sitting right now with that wind chill around -9. You look at those winds, they're out of the east, southeast. That's why we're seeing all that that ice move in. But they're gusting around 44 kilometers per hour at the moment. So just taking a look at what's going on weather-wise. The nor'easter is south of Nova Scotia at the moment, but we are seeing these bands of snow move in and going to continue to do so as we head through the night tonight. Zooming in a little bit, you can see across the Avalon, Burin Peninsula seeing some of that snow, southern Avalon seeing it at the moment. And that is just going to continue to work its way north as we head through the night tonight. Current temperatures, though, sitting, like I said, around -2 in St. John's, minus single digits right across the board, even up across Labrador as well. And if we take a look at the future tracker, I'm going to keep those temperatures there on there for you to see that the temperatures are going to generally stay around the 0-degree mark as we head through the overnight tonight. Now, this snow is going to work its way north and east as we head through the overnight as well. So in the next couple of hours, we should start to see that snow for the metro area, and it'll get heavy after that, so through the overnight period for the most part. But note what happens. This showing some rain potential down along southern areas of the island, or at least of the Avalon. And then the temperatures start to creep up as we get into the morning hours. So already up above 0. It looks like at this point some drier air likely moving in, and this should change over to drizzle. But there are some indications, some models certainly showing that the snow will continue as we head into the afternoon hours for the Avalon. So that certainly is a potential, but that's just one model's indication. Now, as far as central and the northern peninsula is considered, or rather is going to happen, we will see those flurries continue for the most of the night. So temperatures, like I said, will be sitting into the minus single digits, -10 in Lab City through the night, but these winds are going to ramp up, so between 60 and about 70 kilometers per hour. Now, know what happens as we head through the afternoon tomorrow. That snow will continue to push its way further north towards the northern peninsula. Central, you're going to see this snow continue through the day, but we should start to see that end across the Avalon as we get into the afternoon. This is where we'll see likely drizzle and even some periods of showers moving in, especially towards the evening hours on Thursday. Now, as far as snowfall amounts are considered, here's the snowfall amounts, 15 to 25 centimeters for a wide area. Now, this will push us through to Friday, and that's because, like I said, central and northern peninsula, you're going to see this snow continue. Now, for the Avalon, I think elevation is going to play a major role in this. So I do have 5 to 15 centimeters for southern areas of the island, but I also want to show you this. Now, this is one model's what they're thinking is going to happen. So it's very variable. You can see some areas 5 to 10 centimeters, some areas seeing 20 to 30 and even more. That's where the elevation is going to play a role in it. So that's why I'm saying between 15 to 25 is a good idea, but higher elevations, you may pick up even more than that. So definitely be aware of that for tomorrow. If you're saying, actually, there's nothing on the ground, that's probably because elevation has played a role. Now, as far as temperatures are concerned for tomorrow, we should sit above 0. The winds will be a bit brisk in the morning, around 30 to 50 kilometers per hour, but then they should ease as the day goes on, but around 20 to 40, maybe even a little less than that. And then again, those areas seeing those temperatures above 0 for the most part, you will see that transition. Expect snow to continue with some gusty winds through central for a good chunk of the afternoon tomorrow, 1 to 2 degrees. Same thing as you head towards the west coast. Those winds will be out of the east 20 to 40, and you're still going to see that accumulation, especially in the Green Bay, White Bay area and northern peninsula east through the day as your temperatures hover around 1, even 2 degrees and your winds out of the east. Now, as far as Labrador is concerned, you will see some snow in southeastern Labrador, but for the most part, a fairly quiet day. A few flurries certainly possible in Happy Valley Goose Bay with your temperature hovering around 1, but overall those temperatures will be a little bit below 0, somewhere between -1 and -3, and relatively light winds and even a few peaks of sun. So that's tomorrow's forecast. We'll talk about the weekend when I come back.
Well, this week we're hearing about ocean science work on board Coast Guard ship Amundsen. Some researchers are interested in fish and sea life, but for others, it's all about what's under the ocean itself. They're looking to make new discoveries in the seabed. Here's Land and Sea's host, Jane Ady, with that story.
I'm looking at that rock slide right there. Well, I don't know if it's a slide, but there's little bits of rock that are coming down the cliff there.
Laura Broom is on a quest to solve a mystery in northern Labrador. She's a marine geoscientist with Natural Resources Canada. She and her team are using what's called a gravity core to penetrate the seabed. It'll take a long vertical sample of the layers of sediment.
I think this one's about 9 meters long, and so we can potentially get 9 meters of sediment, like a record that could be tens of thousands of years old.
Laura is trying to figure out if an underwater landslide occurred here in Norfolk Fjord. Some multi-beam data of the seabed shows an outline of what they think might have been a slide.
We're going to use this gravity core, take a core within that landslide deposit, and we'll take one outside of that landslide deposit. And what we want to know is, how old is this landslide?
Look at how black it is.
Certain features of the mud, like shells, will help them age the sediment, and that will help them narrow down when it might have happened, and also if the area is prone to landslides.
For any decision making that can happen in an area, it's really important to understand, are there any geohazards we should be aware of? So if there's been a landslide, and maybe it happened 10,000 years ago and it's never happened since, okay, the sediment might potentially be stable in this area now. But if it's happened very recently, or there's been more than one event that have happened over a period of time, it's important to know that that area could have potential for underwater landslides. Because in some areas where these occur, those landslides can generate tsunamis. You're displacing a lot of sediment in a small body of water, and that water has to go somewhere.
Back in 1929, an underwater landslide was triggered by an earthquake in the Grand Banks. That landslide created a tsunami that claimed 28 lives along Newfoundland and Labrador's Burin Peninsula.
But often you can see the structures in it.
These researchers hope that by studying the sediment, they can help predict where landslides might happen in the future. They'll take this mud to their labs for analysis. What they uncover here and in other testing sites in Atlantic Canada and the North could provide vital knowledge for those who live along the coast.
So it's always important to get these records, and I really find that very gratifying to know that what we're studying here can have a real impact on people today.
For Here and Now, I'm Jane Ady with Land and Sea.
Coming up on Here and Now. It's been 3 years since the start of the pandemic, but for many working moms, things have only gotten tougher.
With this, it's like so much out of my control that I feel like I'm like suffocating, and then you can't get away from it.
Parenting has always been hard, right? So what's different about it right now?
It is different right now.
When your kids keep getting sick and your sick days at work are long gone, what's a working mom to do? That's coming up on Here and Now.
When your kids keep getting sick and your sick days at work are long gone, what's a working mom to do? It's the big question facing many parents right now, but new data reveals how it's working moms who are taking the biggest hits. Women with young children have seen their lost working days skyrocket, causing personal stress and a strain on the economy. Here Now's Caroline Hillier brings us this special report on what needs to be done to help them.
Okay, everybody ready? So cute, right? But parenting can be tough. And since the pandemic, it feels like it's gotten tougher. But here's the thing, it's not just a feeling. Parents, especially moms, are getting seriously burnt out, right? Yeah. You can hear it in their voices and you can see it in the data. So what kind of support do moms need? Well, the answer may not be here at home. It may actually be in the workplace. Oh, are you rolling?
No.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you're recording. You want to get some shots of babies? Let's go get some shots of babies.
Whoa, that's a real close-up. Okay, maybe not too close. Maybe not too close. Oh, you see.
For lots of moms, stressing out about how to balance work and family starts before their babies even learn to crawl.
When are you going back?
The day after her birthday, like March 23rd, is I'm supposed to head back. And like hour drive each way this year.
The moms in this playgroup are all on maternity leave, but already they're worried about what's around the corner.
So the biggest concern is securing childcare for Avery before I go back to work. Some spots are saying not until the end of 2024, so I don't know, I guess I should have called before I even thought about having a child.
I used every sick day that I had when I was pregnant with Lucy. So I'm going back with not very many days to be able to take. So if she's sick or if there's a bug going around her daycare and she has to stay home, it's going to be very difficult. I can imagine that the days are going to go pretty quickly.
How is this affecting the stress that you're having on your mat leave?
Honestly, I'm so busy I don't really get time to think about it, and then every now and then it'll occur to me like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
I wanted to see what that balancing act looks like in practice. So I went to meet a mom who's in the thick of it, working and raising 2 kids. But we had to reschedule our interview a few times because her kids kept getting sick, and then she got sick too. Finally, we were able to meet in the short break she has between work and daycare pickup.
Hey, are you Olivia? Why don't you come over with us? I think you probably have some car seats back there. Hi, how are you?
Good. So good to meet you finally.
Oh my God, I know, it's been bad.
You guys have been sick?
Yeah. We had like a little lull for about 2 weeks and I was feeling too confident, and then we all got, I got the stomach flu, and then now it's my husband, and anyway, so here we are. Thank you for making it work.
How many sick days have you had to use, or family responsibility leave days?
Well, I've used all my family leave days, and I don't know exactly how many, but I mean, I can count on one hand the number of days I have left for this year, so it's getting tight. I'm stressed, and I've never, I used to pride myself on I don't have stress bone in my body. I'm very relaxed. I don't worry about much. It's out of my control, it's out of my control. But with this, it's out of my control, but it's so much out of my control that I feel like I'm suffocating, and then you can't get away from it. If you got something to do for something else, you can always, be like, okay, I'll deal with that after, but I can't deal with this after. I have to deal with this every second that it's going on because it's my children and my family.
How many moms are dealing with the same thing? This is the average number of working days both moms and dads have lost in the last 5 years for family or personal responsibility. Now, if you look at one particular group, working moms with kids under 5, those numbers are way higher. Before the pandemic, working moms were already giving up more working days than men. But when the pandemic hit, women with young children saw their lost working days surge to more than 9 per year. And that number hasn't come down much, with 7.7 days lost in 2021 and 2022. Lost working days aren't the only thing going up since the pandemic. At this counseling clinic, there are more parents coming in saying they are burned out.
Parenting has always been hard, right? So what's different about it right now?
It is different right now. You know what I mean? It really is different right now. And you can hear that in parents' stories. I hear that in parents' stories. But you see that in the research and in studies as well. You really do. You see that there is a significant increase in parent burnout happening right now.
It isn't just parents who are paying the price. When moms and dads can't go to work, the whole economy takes a hit.
Parents lose income when associated with that. There's a huge stress associated with that. There's a discontinuity of work associated with that. So there's a lot of problems from a parental side. Flip that over to the business side. Businesses who have employees who have to take time off work on a regular basis have discontinuity in their productivity. Their projects don't go ahead quite the same way. And it's a general strain on the economy overall.
So, what's the solution? Well, we're going to check out a company that may have part of it figured out. Misa is a company that makes smart thermostats, but one of their work policies is pretty smart too.
Caroline, welcome to Misa.
Thank you. Nice. So how many people work here?
So we're at about 120 employees right now, including our co-op students.
Okay.
If they have 120 employees, where is everyone?
I would say that a lot of people definitely take advantage of our hybrid work environment. If we had every employee here at the moment, we probably might not have enough desks for everyone, but where we have that mix, people can choose what days they want to come into the office.
Why don't you tell me about your unlimited paid leave policy?
Sure. So our unlimited paid time off policy actually covers all different kinds of leave that you would get at any normal company. So that would be vacation, family leave, any time that you would need off for sick leave or personal leave, anything like that. So it really is an umbrella for all leave that you would take.
Now, a lot of employers might look at this policy and say, how would we get any work done?
We find that people are actually a lot more efficient when they can do it on their own time and when they actually have the time to sit and focus and they're not distracted by family issues or whatever else may be going on within their workday. You want to have happy employees. Happy employees are going to be willing to come to work. They're going to want to perform well. They're going to be motivated to do their jobs even better than maybe they had before.
Of course, not every mom can have a job at a tech company, and not all work can be done from home. But all parents need support, now more than ever.
If you are an employer, can you think about being able to offer more family leave? Can you think about being able to offer more sick leave? If that's not a possibility, how can you create more flexibility in Parents' Day, whether that looks like flexible work hours, flexible work times, and also just checking in, right? Offering compassion, acknowledging how tough this season is for parents.
What could help you right now as a mom?
More encouragement or a more open platform for moms and dads to talk about how tough, it is to be parents. I think it would even take a lot of load off because I'm sure I can't be the only one struggling.
So when we're looking for solutions, maybe we should just start by asking moms what they need because they can tell us, unlike these guys, because you can't talk. Right? Not yet. No, but you're so cute, aren't you?
Well, as the province and the country try to attract more immigrants, there's a warning to would-be newcomers. Seeking help from the wrong people could cause a lot of problems. That story is next. Well, as Canada makes a big push to bring in more immigrants, some are sending a warning tonight to would-be newcomers. Be careful who you choose to help you through that process. The CBC's Chris O'Neill-Yates introduces us to one woman now out tens of thousands of dollars after hiring an agent not actually authorized to provide immigration services.
How are you?
Good, ma.
Joy Thompson has a dream to reunite her family.
Just came from work?
Yes.
Thompson came to Canada in 2004 to help support her children and to put them through school back in the Philippines. And it paid off. Her daughters, April and Aubrey Nouvelle, graduated as nurses. In 2018, they were working in the United Arab Emirates. To join their mother in Canada, they needed a work permit. When Thompson's boss introduced her to Rose and Bert Smith, owners of an employment agency that offers immigration services, she felt her dream was finally about to come true.
I was excited when I saw Rose. She even said we are in good hands.
Smith said for $12,000 each, she could get Thompson's daughters jobs here in Lewisport, Newfoundland, working as personal care attendants at this retirement home she said was owned by a close friend. Thompson signed service agreements with Smith to process their federal and provincial immigration applications. But after she paid an $8,000 deposit, she says everything changed.
She became rude. She doesn't want to be asked.
Thompson says Smith never allowed them to have access to their visa and permanent residency applications.
She holds it. And every time we ask, she always said, okay, if you want to, then you do it on your own.
I'm sad because
Aubrey's visa was approved first, but she claims when she asked to speak to the owner of the retirement home in Newfoundland,
Rose didn't allow us to contact her.
Then Smith told Aubrey her job start date was on hold due to COVID. In frustration, she turned to an officer at Newfoundland Immigration for help. She was in for a surprise. We find the information your agent has given you to be concerning, wrote the officer. Warning, the agent must be registered, otherwise they're not allowed to take money from her.
This is the first letter.
Immigration asked them to send a copy of their signed agreement and put the Nouvelles' applications on hold to investigate. So we investigated too. Turns out Rose Smith is not a registered immigration consultant, not authorized to provide immigration services. Rose Smith is actually former immigration lawyer Rose Laure Noel. In 2014, Noel was found guilty of professional misconduct for failing to cooperate fully with an investigation into 5 client complaints involving the fees she charged and how she handled the monies. Her license was revoked in Ontario and Quebec. Then, within months of signing service agreements with Thompson, the Ontario Superior Court of Justice ordered Smith and an associate to repay $40,000 to a woman in Markham, Ontario, after Smith promised to help bring her brother and his wife to Canada from China. The services were never provided. Thompson asked for her money back, but Smith refused, saying they got the services they paid for. She blamed the Nouvelles for meddling in the process and for the relationship breakdown with the employer, who withdrew her support for their applications.
Our dreams shattered. My hope of being with them disappeared.
The problem was that the recruiter, instead of simply finding them a job, turned into something more. Great, thanks so much.
In Canada, the only people who can give immigration advice for a fee are regulated consultants or lawyers. Phil Mooney reviewed the Nouvelles' files.
The recruiter effectively promised them and offered to do immigration work for them, gave them advice on how to file, asked for all the documents, all of that, and they acted clearly as their immigration representative in putting together this application.
Rose Smith insists that everything was above board, that they hired a lawyer to submit the Nouvelles' immigration applications.
Thompson says they never heard from Apex's lawyer, never even knew his name. The only person that ever gave them advice was Rose Smith.
Not knowing who to turn to, Thompson reached out to the Immigration Consultants Regulatory College.
Unlicensed practitioners have been extremely active in every aspect of Canadian immigration.
And here's the final twist. CEO John Murray says a licensing body can't take action against an unlicensed practitioner.
As I said, we are trying to work out with the federal government amendments to our powers to take legal process against unlicensed practitioners. We just don't have a resolution to those discussions yet.
If you're just a simple citizen, they will just turn their back on you. That's how I feel. There's nobody to go to.
Love you, Ma.
Love you.
In the meantime, Thompson's daughter Aubrey is still working in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, love you.
Love you, Ma.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Her other daughter, April, has gone back to the Philippines, and the family is still out $24,000.
My kids want their money back. Me, I want my kids here.
All this as Newfoundland and Labrador, along with the rest of Canada, continues to experience a healthcare worker shortage.
Well, that was CBC national reporter Chris O'Neill Yates.
Well, still no snow yet in the metro area. It is on its way. We'll talk about a little bit more about that and what's in store for the weekend coming up.
It was interesting just before the break seeing another live shot of St. John's Harbor with all of the ice, and it looked like that was the Coast Guard icebreaker.
Icebreaking, that's what it looked like, yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's just kind of going around and just breaking up the ice.
I would assume so.
Yeah, and you're hoping to speak with Coast Guard later in the week.
I hope so. That's the plan.
Yeah, get some of those answers.
It should be fun, yeah, for
see
sure.
how they're affected by all this. Okay, and you also mentioned before the break that the snow hasn't started in the metro area, but it's close. It's on the doorstep.
It's definitely on the doorstep, and we'll see that continue as we head through the night tonight. And then this area of low pressure is going to stick with us for a few days. So let's take a look at what's going to happen as we head into Thursday evening and Friday. So you can see that area of low pressure. It hasn't even got here, really. It's going to stay to the south. But there's another one that's going to move in. And at this point, we're looking at that snow continuing potentially along the northeast coast through the day on Friday. Now, temperatures will bump up a couple of degrees, so we're still talking about the potential for some showers or drizzle for the eastern half of the island. And then we've got some snow potential up across Labrador as well, particularly northern areas. But if you take a look at the temperatures, they will be hovering somewhere between 1 and about 4 degrees across the island. The best chance of seeing the sunshine will be along the southwest, so Port aux Basques, 3 degrees and some sunshine through the day. Up across Labrador, your temperatures will be generally around -4 for the north and the west, but Happy Valley Goose Bay towards the coast, your temperatures will be above 0, so somewhere between 1 and 2 degrees. Now, as we head through the evening hours on Friday into Saturday, another quiet day, it looks like, for the most part. Now, still going to see the chance of some showers or flurries lingering. Along the west coast, we may see that as well. And then the chance of some flurries certainly for central and coastal areas of Labrador as we head into the evening hours. Now, temperatures again will be above 0. 3-4 degrees across the island. Temperatures up across Labrador, dipping a little bit in Lav City, about -7 with some sunshine. But there's that flurry activity I was talking about for Happy Valley Goose Bay. Temperatures bump back down below 0 between -1, -2 through the day. And if we take a look at the long range forecast for St. John's and Eastern Newfoundland, it's a trend towards up. We're looking at Saturday, 3 degrees, but by Sunday, about 5, it looks like at this point. So that means either showers or flurries. And then by Monday, the chance of flurries will return as our temperature hovers around the 1 degree mark. Now for central Newfoundland, looking fairly gray for the next 5 days. Cloud cover the story for your Saturday. Sunday, temperatures up around 6 degrees. Again, either showers or flurries, and then the flurries for your Monday. Now, western Newfoundland looking at a bit of sun for Saturday, at least a few peaks. Around 3 degrees, that mild temperature will continue as we head into Sunday, and then dropping below 0 as we get into Monday. Now, for eastern Labrador, a few flurries, like I said, on Saturday. The trend will be down as far as temperatures are concerned, and then for western Labrador, some flurries both Sunday and Monday, and your temperatures around -8 or -9. Now, this shot, I love this one. This is a beauty. This is sunset in St. George's. Brian shared this lovely shot with us. And if you have any weather photos you would like to share with us, send them to Facebook, Twitter, or email to nlphotos@cbc.ca. That's the best place to send them.
Oh, that is gorgeous. Is that a beach or is that the ice?
It's probably, I'd say the ice.
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
Hard to tell these
Sunset.
days.
Yeah, you never really know, do you?
Yeah, lots of ice along the coastline for sure. Well, that's it for us on this Wednesday, right? Wednesday, okay. The week is flying by kind of quickly.
It is.
Yeah. All right, hope to see you again tomorrow.
Good night.